Hello there everyone, this is the Fish Slappee. Hi Slappers, how are you doing? In 2 days time, the next episode of Season 3 will be released. It's called Rising Flames. While you will be seeing a full playthrough of the episode here on this channel, I thought since I can't contain my excitement for this, I really wanted to make a sort of final speculations video before it drops in just 2 days time. This video will become obsolete more quickly than any of my other ones. I'll specifically talk about one possible direction in which the story can take us, which I think would be an absolutely amazingly epic one. Obviously this is not the only thing that I think that can happen, but I think it's a really interesting theory, so let's talk about this. Oh, and I should mention as well that this is only about the story. If you're interested in gameplay speculations, this is not the video for you. Anyway, so let's start by talking about this place we're going to, the Ring of Fire, the Fire Island Chain, Ember Bay. This place goes by many different names apparently. What this place is and what it was like back in Guild Wars 1, because we did go there in Guild Wars 1 as well. The description of these islands from the first game reads like this: just south of the Tarnished coast lie the volcanic islands that together make up the Ring of Fire. The large volcano at the center of the ring is where the gods, that's the human gods by the way, reportedly dropped the bloodstones before leaving TYRIA for good. Of the islands that surround this one, many are still active. Ships that pass by the ring reports hearing the telltale hiss of scalding hot lava hitting the ocean, instantly vaporizing salt water into steam. The reefs off the islands are formed of black pumice stone. There are very few natural ports, and those that might be suitable for docking would bring the crew of the ship within danger of being caught by a sudden, unexpected eruption. There are no known settlements in the Ring of Fire. Some harsh stuff, some harsh place we're going to. We also know obviously from Guild Wars 1 that the Mersat had a very strong presence in this area. A lot of the story in this area talked about the Mersat. They had their enormous fortress, the Onyx Gate, which protected the Door of Kamali, which in turn kept the terrible Titans from returning to TYRIA and wreaking all sort of havoc. We know from one of the articles that there will be a Mersat fortress in this map, so that's pretty much confirmed. Now, the significance and presence that the Mersat had in Guild Wars 1, combined with the very recent revelations from Out of the Shadows that Lazarus has actually been reborn, I think can't really be ignored or can be a coincidence. So I think these two have to go together somehow, right? Because the trailer recapped that Lazarus had consumed all the magic from the Maguma Bloodstone and that he wanted the White Mantle to follow a more worthy pursuit. Well, there is another Bloodstone in the huge volcano in the center of the island's Abaddon's Mouth. I think it would make sense if this worthy pursuit of Lazarus would be for the White Mantle and Lazarus to travel down to the Ring of Fire in order for him to soak up the power of this Bloodstone as well. In fact, the trailer included the line, "The swell of magic will cause a cataclysmic eruption." I suppose anything similar to the explosion we had in Bloodstone Fen would be more than enough to be the cause of this. So I think that Lazarus' reasons for traveling down to the Ring of Fire at this point in the story is a sort of solid one and very plausible one. Now let's talk about Primordus, because this numpty, this asshole, we've been following him for weeks now with the lovely Sace Bernhardt. With this douchebag, it's sort of the opposite of Lazarus. We know for a fact that it is traveling down to the Ring of Fire, but it's a bit more difficult to find a sort of as clear of a motive for Primordus to travel down here right now. Now, there's been a lot of speculation as to why Primordus would want to go here. As an Elder Dragon, Primordus probably has a good nose for the shifts in magic around the world, right? Now, we know from the White Mantle scraps of paper in Bloodstone Fen that bloodstones react very strongly when a Elder Dragon dies. The Maguma Bloodstone is said to have expanded and cracked when Zaitan died, and even more so when Morgemoth died. Huge cataclysmic surges of magic that sort of got soaked up by the Bloodstone and expanded it. Now, wouldn't the Bloodstone down in the Fire Island Chain also react in the same way by these two Elder Dragons dying? And who knows what happened to it after Lazarus exploded the Bloodstone but also then soaked back the magic? And did he really soak in all the magic? Because just considering what state Bloodstone Fen is in right now with all these magical storms and shit going up in the air, there seems to be a lot of magic still lingering in the air. So the question then is, how did the Bloodstone down in the Fire Island Chain react when this stuff happened with Lazarus? Maybe we can assume that all of this shifting in magic back and forth, which happened down here around the Bloodstone in Bloodstone Fen, sort of tickled Primordus enough to send it traveling down all the way from Frostcourt Sound to the other end of TYRIA down in the Fire Island Chain. While this idea perhaps is not as clear-cut as the reason for Lazarus to travel to the Fire Island Chain, I think it kind of works. Anyway, let's assume that it does. If it does, there perhaps will be a clash between these two terribly powerful creatures. Lazarus, the last Mersat, basically is thought of as a god in Guild Wars 1, a god who's just soaked up all the magic from the Bloodstone in the Maguma Jungle, against the Elder Dragon Primordus with with all his minions with him. All caught up in this will be the player characters and the Dragon's Watch, right? And from that point on, they could take the story in any direction. I have no clue about that. Maybe that's the sort of direction where they're going to go in. Who knows? Alright, before I end the video, just more tidbits of lore that I wanted to discuss. Towards the end of the trailer, we hear a voice say,
I didn't think we'd be dealing with another dragon so soon.
Is this Braham? Because it does sound to me like Braham. We know that he's been traveling in the far Shiver Peaks, sort of mourning the death of his mother, but maybe after time he realized that Primordus was active. Maybe she somehow managed to contact him and you know, made him travel with us down to the Fire Island chain. I would have hoped that we would travel up in the Shiver Peaks to actually find Braham and bring him down back, but maybe we don't have time for that. I don't know. And speaking of that, how do we get to the Fire Island chain? To me, this is important. How we travel to these new places and the means of travel, because I think us traveling to Bloodstone Fen was the best part of that story, where we, you know, the cutscene with the airship in the sky and then the huge explosion, and then you load into the map and you see what's going on. So I really hope that they do a similar thing here. Since you can actually see the bloody place from Rotasum, I would hope that we take a boat there from the dock in Rotasum, because it's so close, with like a juicy cinematic accompanying it, right? We see also in the behind the scenes video that they talk about ships, and we see a ship sailing. So, you know, this could be an opportunity, because I suppose also that Elmora Soulkeeper's airship is damaged still after Bloodstone Fen, and obviously the rest of the Pact fleet was destroyed by Mordremoth. So traveling by old-fashioned boat sounds like a good opportunity. However, one thing that really got me pissed off after seeing this behind-the-scenes thing is that you can actually see an Asura Gate built on the Fire Island chain. And this was so like, what the hell? What is an Asura Gate doing there? This would clearly be the lamest way possible we could travel to the Fire Island chain. We just activate an Asura Gate in one of the major cities or whatever, recalibrate it, and then we go through it, and boom, we're in the Fire Island chain. That would be so extremely lame. I really hope that doesn't happen. But who the hell built this Asura Gate? Have Asura been there for long enough to create Asura Gates? Maybe there was one back in Guild Wars 1 as well. I have no idea about that. Maybe someone who's played through Guild Wars 1 can tell me if there was one. I don't think so though, right? Anyway, there we go. That's my probably very off speculations just before this patch drops. Do let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you think I was wrong about something, if I missed something very obvious, or just your thoughts on what will happen to the story. I would love to have a read. If you enjoyed this video, please also leave it a like. It really helps me out a lot. Stay tuned for the playthrough coming out in the next few days. And until then, please do have a lovely time, everyone. And I'll see you then. Bye! I thought this was going to be part of the new Fractal, but apparently it's part of the living world. This is amazing. Oh, dude.